In the next 60 minutes here on Newsnight, vetting of Chief Justice nominee now on Monday as leadership of Parliament reaches consensus.
There was no controversy. It is just that, sometimes people make statements you need to appreciate, understand where they are coming from, massage some egos and so on.
Meanwhile, civil society group ASEPA petitions Shraj and Parliament demanding a halt to the process, alleging non-disclosure of assets by the Chief Justice nominee.
Now, Justice Enim Yeboah, who is the president nominee, was appointed to the Supreme Court in 2008, and we believe that he has not declared his assets and liabilities in accordance with Article 286.
Also tonight, NDC Chairman Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo warns the country could be plunged into chaos if the Electoral Commission goes ahead to compile fresh biometric voters register with only months to the 2020 polls.
Nothing is wrong with the data that we have, and the Electoral Commission has no business going around to capture new data again. When the political temperature in the country is very high, in an election year, we cannot toy with the future, the security of this country.
Meanwhile, 4 more for Nana. Governing MPP appeals to Ghanaians to support the Akufo-Addo administration's policies by extending its tenure in 2020 and reject former President Mahama's comeback.
We have performed better. 4 more to do more. Indeed, the MPP government, given the shambles of an economy inherited in 2017, has performed far better.
And in business, the total value of the economy is now worth 253 billion Ghana cedis after some significant growth for the third quarter of this year. We'll explore the impact for businesses and the economy.
And later in sports, the composition of the Executive Council of the GFA is complete for the election of Alhaji Salifu Zeda at today's Congress. Plus, the 18-team Premier League has come to stay.
And later, hashtag Light Up Accra, the project to line major streets in Ghana's capital with a galaxy of lights. We have all that for you here on Newsnight, and it's brought to you by Puma Card from Puma Energy, cash-free convenience, including your comments. 0244340437. My name is Evans Mensah. There is compromise in Parliament tonight, and the Chief Justice nominee, Justice Enim Yeboah, will have his day before the Appointments Committee on Monday. An earlier advertised date was rejected by the minority, but today, leadership of the House reached a consensus on the matter, paving way for the vetting to establish the suitability of the Chief Justice nominee next week. Statement signed by the Director of Public Affairs, Kate Addo, confirms the new date. Here's a majority leader of Seche Mensah earlier before the decision was reached.
There was a controversy, it was contrived. There was no controversy. It is just that, sometimes people make statements you need to appreciate, understand where they are coming from, massage some egos and so on. So I believe we'll make progress, and I believe we can do it before we adjourn.
So is the vetting still on Saturday?
Parliament is adjourning on the 23rd. We told ourselves.
Right.
We said we adjourn on the 23rd, and by the time we adjourn, the deal would have been accomplished. Thank you very much.
The
minority will be part of it.
The minority should even agree that they'll be part of it.
Well, in the last few minutes, the minority leader has also issued a statement. My colleague Elton Brobe has a copy. What does he say?
It says that the minority in Parliament wishes to bring to the attention of the general public that following further consultation and an intervention by the leadership of Parliament, we have today reached an understanding that makes it possible to reconsider our position and commit to participating in the vetting of the President nominee for the high office of Chief Justice. We take note that the public vetting of Justice Enim Yeboah shall now be held on Monday, the 23rd of December 2019. Ghanaians can expect us to discharge our constitutional duty diligently and thorough, especially considering high regard for the eminent office the nominee will be occupying as head of the judicial arm of government if approved. As we have emphasized earlier, our position on this matter is born out of respect for our practice and processes without any prejudice whatsoever to the nominee in question. The minority will continue to place first the larger interests of Ghana and insists on strict adherence to credible parliamentary democracy.
Okay, so that is Monday. It's going to happen.
Yes.
Do we know if they vet him that day, will there be an approval that same day?
Per the statement that came up, the vetting service at 9 a.m. After the committee will go into a conclave and then decide on the output of the nominee.
So we don't know yet if
we don't know
this
yet.
might
Parliament
happen.
itself is expected to rise on the 23rd of December.
So that same day?
Yeah.
That same day. I mean, if that's the case, then two things can happen. Either they do under a certificate of urgency,
sure,
where they vet him on 9 a.m., finish whatever time,
yeah,
and then break and allow the committee to bring its report. Parliament sits that day, debates and approves or disapproves.
Yeah.
Or they do the vetting, they take a break,
come back in January,
they recall them and approve. I mean, that those are two scenarios that could play out. But we know that the Chief Justice, the incumbent one, term expires tomorrow, and the most senior will act in the interim until this is settled. We'll hear from the minority and majority sides shortly, just to get a sense of where they stand on this. At least the minority leader has a statement out that clarifies that they are in full support of the newly agreed date. We'll see what the majority side says shortly. But let's stay with this issue a while longer, because as we have already learned, ASEPA has petitioned the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice and Parliament to investigate allegations of non-declaration of assets by the nominee, Justice Yeboah. Founder of the group, Mensah Thompson, tells Joy News the nominee is in violation of Article 286 of the 1992 Constitution.
And this is our move to push for public officers to comply with Article 286 of the 1992 Constitution, which enjoins public officers to declare their assets and liabilities within 3 months after taking office, subsequent to other reviews to their terms of office, where they have to redeclare, and when they are appointed to other positions they have to redeclare their assets and all that. So today we petition SHRAJ separately on Justice Yeboah, who is a judge of the Supreme Court. And according to the law, at least from the level of appeals court judge, you're supposed to declare your assets and liabilities. Now, Justice Yeboah, who is a president nominee, was appointed to the Supreme Court in 2008, and we believe that he has not declared his assets and liabilities in accordance with Article 286.
Okay.
And so, following the president nomination of Justice Yeboah, we felt that, for somebody who is going to be the head of judiciary, the key enforcer of the laws of this country, it is important that some of these basic laws, such as Article 286, Justice Yeboah, as a judge, would have complied by it.
You said earlier when you were speaking that you believe he has not declared his assets. Do you have evidence that he has not declared his asset, or it is based on your belief that he has not declared his assets?
Well, as a public accountability group, we also have our sources and we do our own investigations. And sorry that, in matters like this, you cannot disclose your source of information, because it will also, in a way, affect the work that we do. You're a journalist, you understand this better. So
my job is different from your job, I should say.
Yes, but you know that you need to protect your sources sometimes when it comes to information. So we believe, and that is why the title of the petition to SHRAJ is allegation of non-disclosure of assets and liabilities. So now SHRAJ will then write to the Auditor General's Department and request for details of Justice Yeboah's asset declaration. And once it is, the Auditor General writes back and say that he is declared or he is not declared. If he is declared, the way is cleared for him to vet it.
No, but the point is, you can't just, so someone has been nominated, he's going to face a committee, and then you're petitioning, essentially, you're asking Parliament to not vet him, correct?
Yes, to hold on to the vetting.
And to hold on to the vetting and the subsequent approval, yes, or disapproval, whichever way it goes. But you're essentially slowing down the system and you don't have hard evidence, hardcore evidence to prove that he hasn't, that he has or hasn't declared his assets?
No, you see, even if I have hard evidence, I can show it to you, because the Constitution is very clear on who must have access to asset declaration forms when they are filled. You understand? And so,
do you have it or do you not have it?
Yes, we do. Otherwise, we don't have taken the step.
And you have Mensah Thompson, founder of ASEPA. They have petitioned Shraj and Parliament, alleging that the nominee, the Chief Justice nominee, hasn't declared his assets and it's in violation of Article 286 of the 1992 Constitution. Let's bring in the Minority Chief Whip, Muntaka Mubarak. He joins us on the telephone line right now. Mr. Mubarak, I'm grateful that you could join us here on Newsline. There's a new date now, has just been announced. Are you satisfied with this date?
Well, as we have issued a statement, the minority, yes, after the meeting this morning, we came to the conclusion that, yes, obviously, there's a need to make compromise. There's a need to put the temperature in the committee and in the House, and after the unfortunate incident of that, this week. So we met this morning, and after looking at the proposals, especially the majority leader, we all agree that we have to do the festival of Monday. So we are going to be part of it.
May I beg to indulge me slightly? I'm having a challenge with the line just because of the environment. If you can slightly reposition so we could get a clearer connection to you, I'll be very grateful. There's a lot of ambient noise that is interfering with that. Let me go back to him again and see if this time we could get a better line to him. So if you can clarify also for me, if he's vetted on Monday, what is the agreement? Is it going to be approved? Will the nomination approved that same day? Hello, Mr. Mubarak.
Yes,
yes, great. I was just asking for clarity. If he's vetted on Monday, is there agreement? Is there an agreement in the House that that report comes that same day and considered by the plenary for approval?
Well, I mean, all depends on what happens at the vetting. And so far as I'm concerned, our concentration now is to do the best that we can to finish the vetting on Monday. What will happen after the vetting will all depend on when we are done with the vetting. So it will be too difficult for me to be able to say what is going to happen after the vetting. But all these things are possibilities because, I mean, if we finish in good time, and the chairman and the clerk can prepare the report while the House is proceeding. We've had instances where documents come to the House late. We have to sit sometimes after midnight. I don't know what majority we want to do because once we are done with the vetting, certain things is virtually moves out of the committee members. Usually our party has that the chairman, sometimes with the ranking, and in this case, the first deputy speaker and the minority leader will look through the report. On few instances, we the whips maybe ask also go through it. But usually, our parties over all this decade and a half is continuing benefited unless you have a controversy, especially during the vetting. Then maybe members will say that can you bring the draft report for all of us to look at it to be sure that we are all concerned because of this controversy. And once there's no any controversy, usually, I mean, I would say probably 95% of the time, the chairman, the clerk, and the ranking will look at it, and then if they are okay, we'll tell us that the report is ready, and we'll all have copies. So everything will depend on what happens after the vetting. So now the priority is concentrate to do a very good job with the vetting. And after the vetting, all the other things will fall in line.
And do you have a petition formally before you? We've just been learning that a petition has gone to Shraj and a copy also forwarded to your committee. Has that come to your attention at all formally?
No, not at all. I mean, I received my file with all the necessary documentation I started going through. And then I have the letter from the president nominating him. I have the CV, and then I kind of part of his judgment. That's all in the file. And the chairman has not yet informed us. Usually, if you think that they spend properly, they are addressed to the chair of the committee. And the moment the chairman receives it, he draws the attention of the committee members and sometimes miss copies. Sometimes the chairman will try to to emphasize that, especially if the allegation is very substantial. He may want to write to some institutions to cross-check the facts, and then they will tell us that, oh, after receiving these petitions, I've taken this step. Maybe I've listened to the police, I've listened to the DNI, I've listened to these institutions, and these are the responses I have received. And based on the response that the chairman receives, if there are new substance to the allegations, we don't evaluate it during the vetting. If there are, then the chairman will allow us to raise them, and then the nominee will have to answer to them.
I'm grateful.
So, as I did say, we not receive any.
I'm grateful that you joined us. Yeah, that is the Minority Chief Whip, Muntaka Mubarak. You're still listening to News 9 on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, tonight, NDC Chairman Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo is warning the country could be plunged into chaos if the Electoral Commission goes ahead to compile the fresh biometric voters register with only months to the 2020 polls. The latest position by the party follows a justification by the Electoral Commission. The new biometric system will cut out excesses and address challenges with the system it describes as outdated. At a news conference in Accra Thursday, Mr. Ofosu-Ampofo said the current political climate does not support the EC's quest to procure a new biometric system.
Nothing is wrong with the data that we have, and the Electoral Commission has no business going around to capture new data again. Near Echa to Okra say, in an election year, alcohol protocol, election year, no, we don't introduce new systems into the electoral system in an election year. General come on some data. But the fact of the matter is when the political temperature in the country is very high in an election year, na obi ba na muntie na say am say NIA for my 1 year timetable say one of the veteran Ghana fooding. Almost 2 years, almost 30 years, they have not covered the whole country. In an election year, we cannot toy with the future, the security of this country by introducing something that we don't know what is inside. Yes, sir, the devil you know is better than the angel you don't know, Madam.
Well, the General Secretary of the party was clear that the party will resist in the strongest terms any attempt by the Electoral Commission to go ahead with the exercise.
2 days ago, the current voters register was used to successfully elect about 6,600 district assembly members and about 33,000 unit committee members. Yet the Electoral Commission is telling us that the same register cannot be used to elect one president and 275 members of parliament. We are informed that it involves the procurement of a new biometric registration system, the cost of which is estimated at a gargantuan sum of over 444 million new Ghana cedis. And we are going to do this at a time when teachers are crying, nurses are crying, contractors are crying, students are crying. In March of this year, the National Democratic Congress demanded the withdrawal of a deceptive IPAC communique written by the Electoral Commission after an IPAC meeting which sought to create the impression that, quote, after exhaustive deliberations, all the parties agreed that there will be a compilation of a new biometric voters register. Our request for us to be furnished with all the issues on the current system is yet to be fully responded to. We asked for what they themselves referred to as a consultant's evaluation of the system. We asked for a copy of that report. It is yet to be given out to us. All that we have is a commentary from them of what the report is purported to have said. But we haven't seen the report.
Well, the NPP also held a press conference today, and they also took time to respond to these concerns raised by the NDC. Listen to the party's communication director, Yababi Asama.
Our position is clear. 3 conditions. If the resources are there, if there is time enough between now and the election, and if there is demonstrated utility for the new register, which means that the old one has to be such that it cannot perform at all, then we would have no option but to follow through. But we are also interested in how it will merge of the census. You are aware that there's going to be a census day. Yes, I think it's March 31st. It's going to be the census night in Ghana. So when I talk about time, I'm also looking at how the EC's processes merge with the census night, because that also informs redemarcation or otherwise of some of the districts and constituencies that will be fighting in an election conducted by the EC.
Now, at this press conference today, the Yabo Abing Asamoah also detailed the achievements of the president, asking Ghanaians to give Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo 4 more years as they move into the 2020 election season. Listen to.
We insist, and we will continue to insist, that we are different from the NDC. We promised change, an agenda for jobs, creating prosperity for all. That is the title of our manifesto. Change, an agenda for all, an agenda for jobs, creating prosperity and equal opportunity for all. Whilst we see progress being made, we the party believe we are on the right path. Of course, we cannot deliver all our promise at the same time. We would also like an evaluation based on the long-term impact of what we are doing, rather than just counting the promises. Because the import of what we are doing is to transform this country beyond aid and debt into a safe, secure nation with a healthy, skilled manpower base, driving diversification for opportunities and incomes with modern technology within appropriate legal framework, whilst maintaining good economic international relations to support world peace and stability.
Well, there was also a firm point made by the party at the press conference today for a rejection of the former president, John Mahama.
Our motto is development in freedom. We develop in freedom. We allow everybody space, think, to speak, to be innovative, but development goes on. That includes criticism of us. So this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, as we go into conference, we invite Ghana to protect the gains we have made in establishing a functional economy. We dare say the NDC cannot maintain what we are building. Indeed, from their record, they will tear it down. They've torn it down before. After they took over from Kufuor, they will cancel policies and they will reverse policies. They will tear it down. They're not able to deliver on their promise on NHIA. They will not deliver on free SHS. They will tear it down.
Well, Yabo Abing Asamoah is on the line with me. Mr. Asamoah, I'm grateful that you could join us on Newsnight.
Thank you, sir.
Let's start with this controversial subject about the new voters register. If I'm not mistaken, your position is you are in full support of compiling a new voters register?
To the extent that the utility of the old one is doubtful, yes. But and to the extent that the EC has a mandate to compile the register, if the EC demonstrates that there is no way it can salvage the existing one to deliver a credible election, then clearly we must prepare to have a new one.
You talk about integrity of the old, the existing register, but this is the same register that delivered for you a historic victory in 2016. It wasn't incredible then, was it?
Oh, of course, registers mutate. This is equipment. In 2016, this material is not on paper; it's in service. And in 2016 to date, that's another 4 years later, you realize that service degenerates. Service provider, I understand from the information in snippets that service provider is saying that this is obsolete, it's gone beyond its shelf life, and is not in a position to deliver spares. It's like having a mobile phone. Your mobile phone can be so old that whenever you reboot it, you drop numbers and you drop data off it. So once it's IT, it degenerates over the years. So 4 years after 2016, if you are going into an election with the same equipment, then you should realize that you need to relook at it.
But that is the machine. The paper, that is the register. What is wrong with that?
No. The machine contains data. The machine is a server. It runs on data. And that is where they extract the verification information from. So if we want to go paper, then we agree that we are not doing electronic verification. But what happens now is that you are verified electronically, and that is part of the machine, the system in the machine. And then you are ticked off in the paper. That is manual.
So it's a combination. You have the manual and then you have the machine. If we decide that we want to go manual, then we go back to the olden days where you come, your face is looked at, you mention your name, then they have to guesswork and decide whether or not you are truly who you say you are, and then take you off. With the machine, once it says verified, you are done. But that depends on the whole infrastructure that's IT based, and that IT base depends on the quality of the service, the ability of the service to engage, to have many touches on it, to go in and out, the information stability. Servers have a shelf life. Servers have a shelf life. It's a fact. So if the service provider says, what I have given you now is obsolete, I can't find spares for it, then you are in trouble.
Right now, NDC says there hasn't been enough consultation. Have you been consulted enough? Do you know the details? Has the EC provided cost implications, etc., in terms of the analysis that leads to the conclusion that we need to change? Have you seen enough there?
You have me on tape this afternoon saying that I believe that we look at three conditions. We look at cost, we look at time frame, and then we look at utility. Obviously, the first two, cost and time frame, are dwarfed by utility. If there is a need for it, if the only way forward is to have it in terms of utility, in terms of it being the only way forward, then you will find the money and the time. So the NDC can go into IPAC and argue. I would rather they didn't argue this matter on the airwaves, because it's not the public who are going to decide. The public don't have the legal authority to run an election. And we've all seen from the 2016 election, which took a lot of lessons from the court case of 2013, that it is very, very difficult for election officials at national headquarters to do anything against the system. And that once it's collated at local level, you are done. So the EC is the one with the law and the mandate. Engage the EC. IPAC is there. Instead of walking out of IPAC and negotiating with the public and airing all these arguments in public in order to court public sympathy, you will need to sit with the EC and determine what is going on, all of the other parties, within the context of IPAC. That is where you get solutions.
Yeah.
That is where you get information. So I don't understand the NDC's penchant for running away from the base of the situation and going to the periphery and then asking to be heard on the periphery. It is not about MPP's response to NDC or NDC's.
Away from the issues surrounding the register, this Sunday you're having your national conference. What is it about?
Very well. I'm grateful for that, because it's very important to us. This is the third National Annual Delegates Conference of the New Patriotic Party, the third conference since we came to power. Every year we meet because this is the highest decision-making body of the party. Deliberates and then says.
Mr. Mabiantoma, can you hear me? We'll try and get him back on the telephone line on this conference to get details of this. We'll also be speaking to Peter Bama Otokuno. Is he on? Mr. Otokuno, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. I mean, so we had the press conference from that by the party today on the concerns with the electoral, the compilation of voters register. It's been stated, but today we heard that if this EC insists, there could be chaos. I mean, why that? It almost sounds threatening.
It is important to underscore the reasons why we are taking this position, and we are requesting that civil society and moral society join us on this mission. We have made the point that we are in with the EC to bring improvement in the credibility of our electoral process. And anything that will bring credibility improvement is something that the NDC will stand for. And I'm sure same would, can be said about the other political parties that are joining us on this all-important mission. What we have said is that the reasons the EC has adduced for this new voter register is completely untenable. It is unacceptable and does not, survive a test at even the outpatient department. I have taken pains to go through the various reasons with you, and you see clearly that it has nothing to do with our data, which we call the register. let me use this opportunity to re-emphasize that what we are saying is that the data, which is our biometric data, your biometric data, and everybody's biometric data on the voter register has not been corrupted, does not have any problem, does not have any limitation. Now, they have raised the concern that the software upon which, or the system upon which it runs, has become obsolete or has achieved end of life. The technical experts have mentioned, and they themselves, the Electoral Commission, have admitted that those systems can be upgraded. Now, one other problem they have raised also is the high incidence of manual verification. And this high incidence of manual verification was drawn from the last referendum on 27 December 2018. And we knew very well why we had that high incidence of manual verification. The solution is very simple, and it is known by the Electoral Commission. And they have actually implemented the solution in the just recently ended district level election. That is why in Kodio's report, they have said that over 99.43 or something like that percent of the machines work perfectly, and they verify the people. Even the reason why it worked that way in all the 30,000 polling stations across the country was that they had refurbished the equipment. In 2018, when we were going for the referendum, they had actually gotten budget approval from Parliament and release from Minister of Finance to do the refurbishment. But it was not done. And I recall when this limited registration exercise started this year, we made the case at IPAC that why are they not refurbishing the equipment? Are they just creating the conditions so that they will use those conditions as the basis to, call for the new register? And even granted that the systems, the biometric devices were not working. This is the way the biometric verification devices work. For every election that we go, they load our biometric data onto the devices so that the devices can run matches within the constituencies that they have loaded their respective data on the device. So they can change the device for any constituency, any polling station at any time. Because before the election, they offload the data from the data center onto the devices. So if the device is having a problem, it is having temperature problem, our conditions are not helping the functionality of the device. Just buy new devices and load our data which has not been corrupted, which has no problem, onto it for simple verification.
Let me ask you, because of time, is the NDC going to file any formal complaint, petition on this matter, just to formally register your concerns with the Electoral Commission?
We have actually registered our displeasure variously, and we think that this press conference we did today constitutes another form of registering our displeasure. And we would continue on this mission. And we are humbly requesting that you in the media, civil society, moral society, faith-based organizations, all political parties. Currently, we have several political parties on this mission with us. Let's rise up and defend our limited resources. Our taxes must be protected. We must protect the public purse. We cannot go on this mission of wanton wastage of our limited resources. And that is our problem. That is the difficulty.
Okay. I'm grateful that you joined us, Peter Bomo-Tokuno-Easy, Deputy General Secretary with the NPP. We lost Mr. Babia Asamoah earlier very briefly. Mr. Asamoah, is there going to be any amendments to your constitution on Sunday at this conference?
No, there will not be. It's going to be a straightforward conference. Tomorrow we will have prayers at the Central Mosque. And then Saturday morning, we will have an SDA church service at Laboni SDA Church, opposite the secondary school. And then Sunday morning, by 6 a.m., we should be converging on the Trade Fair site at the Fantasy Dome. And by noon, we would have finished the conference. We will receive messages, fraternal messages, and messages from His Excellency the President, the Treasurer, the Chairman, the General Secretary, former President, Vice President, and then, of course, we will have our big rally. And it's all about consolidating the past 3 years going into next year. So we are saying that we have performed better. On all the indices, we have performed better. So we want 4 more years for Nana to do more.
I'm grateful that you joined us. That is Yabo Asamoah, Director of communications for the incumbent New Patriotic Party. Still ahead, Ghana expected to make over $2.5 billion in revenue from the year of return, as 1.1 million people are expected to be in the country by the end of this year. Actually, this is the next 2 weeks.
By the end of this year, we are projecting that about 1.1 million people would have visited Ghana. Then you know that we are generating a lot of much needed foreign exchange for the country.
And later,
are we all ready? Yeah! 10, 2, 1, 0!
well, hashtag Light Up Accra, the project to line major streets in Ghana's capital with a galaxy of lights. And Joyfm is here loving the look in Accra now. Have you been to the airport runabout, for example? Love it.
No, I haven't been there.
Oh, you should be. It's pretty glowing. Christmas is really in the air.
It's
ready for it? Are you locked and loaded in your pocket?
Not really.
Oh, come on.
We're talking about money, Evans. The value of the total, worth of the economy is now 253 billion Ghana cedis after some significant growth for the third quarter of this year. We'll be looking at what this means for the economy, businesses, and investment. And Evans, how do you spend right during this Christmas so that you're never being broke in the first quarter of next year?
Gary Soakings.
Okay, I'll get some solutions for you after the commercial break. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
It's MTN Festival of 9 Lessons and Carols. Come, join your music stars as they sing your favorite Christmas carols in their own style. Performing this year, Kwame Eugene, Medical, Joe Metal, Kelvin Boy, Sina Soul, Ishan, Winneba Youth Choir, MTN Viva Voices. MTN Festival of 9 Lessons and Carols, Friday, 20 December 2019 at the Fantasy Dome Trade Fair Lab from 6 p.m. sharp. MC Foster Romanus. Dial *1355# to download and set your favorite artist song or carols as your caller tunes and stand a chance to win an invitation card. Come, let's bring the house down. MTN Festival of 9 Lessons and Carols.
We day for you everywhere you go. Mr. Barr has big dreams for his business, Barr & Co. Limited, and his family, making them a reality meant long drives and queues. He's lost precious time struggling to pay his suppliers in China, Turkey, India, and other parts of the world. With the First National Bank global payment via our online banking enterprise, he now pays for all that in the convenience of his home or office, giving him time to focus on family and growing his business. Use our online banking enterprise to access Forex when you need it. It takes a bank that does more to help your family. So who's helping yours? First National Bank. How can we help you?
We give you nothing but the best. We stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Books and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
Start making the simple things simpler. Start using your MasterCard instead of cash. Start buying groceries, shopping online, or at your favorite store, all using your MasterCard. Start enjoying the freedom of a MasterCard in your pocket. knowing the simple things are taken care of with easy, safe, and secure transactions. Ask your bank for your MasterCard. Better than cash.
My guy, I'm telling you, just when the bill came after dinner, she said,
I've got this. Next one on you.
Wow. Then we go shopping. They can't pay, no. She stopped me and said,
Not too fast. I got this. Next on you.
So she make my eye get. I carry him go Samsung shop for Christmas. We go one Samsung Note 10 and one Samsung S10.
And she said, I got this, right?
No, bro, she said,
You've got this, right?
But you know Samsung got you, right? For every Samsung S10 or Note 10 range you buy, Samsung gives you up to 700 Ghana cedis off. Experience the power of 10 this Christmas. This holiday, Samsung is giving from 300 Ghana cedis up to 700 Ghana cedis off the Galaxy S10 and Note 10 range. Get it now before it's gone. Happy holidays. Terms and conditions apply.
Joy 99.7 FM.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the total value of the economy in monetary terms and in this third quarter is now worth 253 billion Ghana cedis. Now, this was after the economy recorded some significant growth for the third quarter of this year. But what are the implications of this growth in this value for the country and even businesses as well as investments? There is more in this Dex report.
The data released by the Ghana Statistical Service shows that the economy in monetary terms has witnessed some significant increase compared to the little over 100 billion cedis recorded for 2018 to 253 billion cedis for the third quarter of this year. In terms of quarter performance, the value hit 85 billion cedis in the first quarter, the second reduced marginally to 84 billion cedis and went up again to 85 billion cedis for the third quarter. There are even projections that the value of the economy could hit 345 billion cedis by the end of this year. A bigger economy in terms of assets and value could convince businesses that they could be getting some good returns when they invest in the economy, thereby impacting positively on foreign direct investments. This could also help government in terms of taxes from these businesses that are coming into the country. It would also be a good signal to other foreign investors that the economy is expanding, therefore it's a good time to do business or set up a firm in Ghana.
And that is a Business Dex report. Let's still stay on the economy because the Ghana Statistical Service is again attributing the agri sector's strong performance to the third quarter of this year to government's Planting for Food and Jobs program. The sector, for the first time since the last quarter of 2018, did better than the traditional performance, that is the services and industry subsectors. Now, the sector argues that the policies put together as well as other measures help the sector grow significantly. That is what the Ghana Statistical Service is saying. Now, Joy Business understands that there was some strong pickup in labor force working in that area as well as the output. Now, meanwhile, economist Professor Peter Korte tells Joy Business he's not surprised by this development, but argues that a lot more needs to be done by government.
I'm not surprised. I wouldn't say surprised. I think we have invested a lot into agri, and we could have had more, but going forward, when we are implementing a policy, it should be a holistic one. You don't provide inputs, other things ahead when storage and other infrastructure lags behind. So marketing and doing good market in processing, all of this has to be done simultaneously so that when the goods are ready, when the food crops are ready, there is a market for them. There are storage facilities for them. There are processing plants, 1D, 1F. This will all be integrated so that we can have good forward and backward linkages.
Economist Professor Peter Korte. Now, insurance sales agents are renewing their calls on the National Insurance Commission to consider setting a fixed premium on insurance policies. The move is expected to eliminate unfair practices in the sector. Now, after emerging as the overall best sales agent for enterprise insurance today, Maribochi noted that setting a fixed premium would help all the agencies to attract more fair numbers from their clients.
That's the biggest challenge, because you give a quotation and then the client will tell you that this person has given me this quotation. So if you don't meet it or if you don't match it, I'm going to give it to the other person. So you, the person taking the business, ideally you're not supposed to take this business. But then if you don't match what the person is giving you, then it's going to go to another person, which is the biggest challenge we are facing there as an industry. So I don't know if there's something we can do about it so that we all have at least a fixed premium for all our clients, that they will not come back for us to be matching. I think the clients are even playing it at their advantage. Instead of them taking a quotation from one person, they will go and take from 5 people.
Mary Boite today emerged as the overall best sales agent for Enterprise Insurance. Now, Christmas is the time of spending and merrymaking with the family and loved ones. But one major challenge is about spending right, so you don't end up being broke the first quarter of next year. Well, earlier on, I tried to find some answers on how to deal with this challenge in this report. The Christmas period may just last for about a week, that is starting from next Monday to Sunday. However, for some, the short period is like a whole month for them. This is because it often ends up with a lot of people being broke. But is there a way out for the individuals that are caught up in this challenge? Charles Mensah is a financial consultant.
You see, if you haven't practiced it over time, and this is it, you have to. Because you have to. My worry is that you have to start the year with a clean head in terms of focus. So let's force ourselves and stick within our budget. After all, it's only 4 days. Stick within our budget for the expenditure. But hey, if it is that you've prepared yourself already towards it, don't worry ahead about the budget. At least you must also enjoy.
Mr. Mensah also argues that it might not be wise to borrow for consumption during this period.
If it's the event where they are doing some promotions, maybe you can participate around it. But the key point is that don't go and borrow for party. In the same vein, I'll tell people, don't go and borrow for a wedding. So that's the same thing. You just don't borrow for consumption. Anybody who borrows for consumption is a big challenge. When you borrow, you are borrowing to buy some assets, some household.
Bring you some good return.
Yes.
Well, there's a school of thought out there that you may not need plenty money to really enjoy Christmas. This is because there are some programs out there that might not be charging as much as the 100, 200 and 500 Ghana cedis. Maybe what about just 20 Ghana cedis at gate fees that you could enjoy some good music with a cool breeze at the beach here in Accra with some drinks? Well, it looks like the advice is out there. Be prudent with your expenditure, don't go borrowing for consumption, and you'll not be broke come January 2020. And I put together that report as part of our Christmas reportage for this particular period.
Well, I hope you take your own advice then, Josh.
To the stock market, and if you're a shareholder of SS, the value of each share held came down by £1 and is now worth 8 pesos. Republic Bank was up by 3 pesos to close at 51 pesos. And that's all for Business on Newsnight.
Well, let's go to the young man who needs that advice the most this Christmas. Hello, Benedict.
Yes, Evans.
I hope you're not spending the little salary you get
chilling, going to club, the women,
chewing kebab and hadibab.
You know what I like about Joyfm?
Tell me.
Do you know what I like about him?
Tell me.
He's always letting the public know what he does best on the weekends. Or especially on Fridays.
You know why? Brother.
George will get his things, and the people around him. You know the people I'm talking about.
Oh, he rolls with the big boys.
Which big boys?
He's running away. It's okay. Do that. It's okay. It's okay.
You know?
I beg on his behalf.
You're running away.
I beg on his behalf.
Well,
what do you have in the headlines?
Well, Upper East Regional Football Chairman Alhaji Salifu Zida has been elected as a representative of the RFA chairman on the Ghana FA Executive Council. Now, Zida pulled 6 out of 7 votes as against Central Regional Chairman Robert Duncan. What this means actually is that he will join Limford Buedu as representatives of the RFA on the Executive Council. So the election was one of the 2 agendas at the 25th Ordinary Congress held at the Ghana Soccer Center of Excellence in Pram today. Now, Congress also voted to amend the statutes on regulation and promotion. Instead of 5 clubs being relegated from the Premier League, now 3 clubs will be relegated and 3 clubs will also be promoted to the Premier League from Division 1. So what this also means is that the 18-team league has come to stay. They also voted to affirm the addition of 2 clubs, that's King Faisal and Accra Great Olympics, to the league. This also means that the membership of Congress has increased from 120 to 124. Well, this FA President Ketu Kriku had this to say during his address.
Once the normalization process was nearing its completion, there was a need
for the management of football to be entrusted back in the hands of a substantive administration to continue with the process of reviving the Ghanaian game. Today, we are here witnessing our first Congress, and this Congress is so important to us. Indeed, we need this Congress so we can get very important duties done, especially our independent committees, get the full executive committee of 12 in place, appoint auditors, and get our year season started.
So that's GFA President Ketu Kriku speaking there. Well, tomorrow there's a big program happening here in Accra. It's at the Accra Sports Stadium. It's a launch of the new Premier League season. Evans.
Okay.
Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, His Excellency, the Vice President of Ghana, will be there. I will be there.
Okay. Yeah,
the Sports Minister will be there as well, of course. Yeah.
It will be. Thank you, Benedict. Grateful. A few of your messages. Kofi says, how can a president who promised to protect the public purse be spending here this humongous amount of 500,000 Ghana cedis on beverages and snack? Simon says, why is the cabinet secretariat paying school fees when there's free SHS? Faoud from media says, Evans, I think the EC must listen to the issues raised by the opposition parties on this new voters register. And Mensai Nosu says, these politicians, they claim the other was a liar in the issue of the vetting, and now they want us to forget that and move on. The citizenry needs full disclosure, methinks, cry the beloved country. Those are a few of your messages on our WhatsApp console now. I want to take you to Kaneshi, because if you need fresh meat for Christmas, maybe one of the places you should be heading is that market, the market there in Kaneshi. The reason is, AMA sanitation inspectors with the Joy Clean Ghana campaign team have commended the butchers and meat sellers there for keeping good sanitary conditions. In the following report, Kamala Dome takes us to the abattoir and shares what he found.
If this were a recce of a place to have my fresh beef, mutton and goat meat ahead of Christmas, then it certainly was worthwhile. This is why. Last month, the Joy Clean Ghana campaign team's visit to the abattoir revealed, among others, unhygienic handling of food, in sanitary conditions, and even more.
Do you expect us to come and clean the place for you?
The Israel cold store was even worse.
To be honest with you, this is your cold room, isn't it? Look at though there is pallets here. You can see how dirty these pallets are.
But after the task force issued stern directives for the butchers to get their act together, the situation has improved. The verdict from inspectors Joseph Asitanga and Florence Kuchi this time was, and so was the situation with the Israel cold store on our follow-up visit.
Ordered him to provide adequate balance and make sure he decongest the cold room and prepare the place hygienically and acceptable to the standards of public health, and he did so. So today we are happy that the place is in order. So congratulations, thank you very much that you have helped me to do what I should have done.
Leader of the Butchers Association here, Alhaji Sule, is gratified by the new look of a meat hub.
And we thank AMA for the screening, and we appreciate it. Some of us have realized that they have a problem, and through this screening, now they are solving their problems, health problem. So we want every butcher, even if I can speak Hausa, for them to hear kuduka kuyena de kyau in wani ciwo na jikinka ma ka gani ka je ka nemi maganin shi yasa yana da kyau kowa yayi wannan mu ne ba na wani bane aiki mu ne. It is our business. We were born as butchers, so we must take part because it's part of butchery. Thank you.
Here is Chumesi Ankara, who operates the Israel Cold Store.
Cleanliness is utmost. We shall keep the cleanliness in an utmost perfection.
So, I leave the meat hub at the Kaneshi market, knowing I am certainly returning here in a couple of days to buy exactly 4 pounds of beef, goat and mutton for my Christmas party. If you still are in a dilemma over where to get your clean meat, you may consider the Kanishi market.
At least now you know where to go for your meat. Now, Ghana is expected to make over $2.5 billion in revenue from the year of return. That is according to the Tourism Minister, Barbara Otinjesi, who says as of September 2019, 750,000 diasporans have visited the country. Taking her turn at the Meet the Press today, the Tourism Minister noted an action plan had been put in place now to ensure that the country is safe and environmentally friendly for the year of return. Nancy Emefa-Jadosi was there and has come through with this report.
President Akufo-Addo declared 2019 the year of return in September 2018 for Africans in the diaspora to trace their roots back to the continent and specifically Ghana. Many did not anticipate how successful it will be. However, many African Americans have visited Ghana. The Tourism Minister, Barbara Otinjesi, at a press briefing revealed that an estimated 1.1 million persons will be in the country by the end of the year for the celebration.
For the year of return 2019, as at September, we have received about 750,000 persons visiting the country. And it is estimated that each tourist who visits the country spends in the region of $2,589. And so if by the end of this year we are projecting that about 1.1 million people would have visited Ghana. So if you multiply 1.1 million persons and each person spending an average of about $2,589, then you know that we are generating a lot of much needed foreign exchange for the country.
The minister also stated that some $2.1 billion is estimated to be invested in the Marine Drive project. Meanwhile, 36 out of 53 government institutions operating within the enclave have been relocated.
In respect of the Marine Drive project, at the end of implementation of the project, we are estimating that an investment of about $2.1 billion would have gone into the project. Currently, for the preparatory activities that we are undertaking, we have expended about $13 million.
So that is the tourism minister there, of course. So this Christmas is going to be a bonanza, and there is the Accra Metropolitan Assembly's own initiative to make the city beautiful with a dozen lights across the capital. Maxwell Ogba was at the ceremony to light up Accra. He came through with this report.
So ladies and gentlemen, are we all ready? Yeah! Are we all ready? Yeah! 10!
Ecstatic screams as MC Nathaniel Attor and other dignitaries turn on the switch to light up Accra.
3, 2, 1!
Motorists who knew the state of the Ridge Runabout were awed as they drove back home. Accra, the new city of light.
I'm sitting on a canoe here at the Ridge Runabout on the Liberation Road. Canoe forms part of the decoration that we have here. Bear in mind the beautiful indigenous and Ghanaian concepts that went into this. I've been speaking to the Chief Executive Officer of Jandel Limited.
So as you can see, we have used a lot of materials that are locally available. Bamboo, everything has been local. We have also been sensitive to the year of return concept, and that is why we brought in the canoes.
These ferry lights stretch from the Kwaje interchange to downtown Central Business District. The mayor of Accra, Mohammed Ejesowa, says there's a 5-year plan with private investors to continuously light up Accra every Christmas.
And that's it for News Night. And so Accra is lit, both in terms of the fun and the lighting. Bring it on, year of return. My name is Evan Spencer. Enjoy the rest of your evening.